NOE Extreme Media UJ. Subscribe for all updates.
And I told Birete, I'm here, she's here. I said, Birete, don't feel down. Don't feel down. You disappoint Lukwago. This shows that the law and the rule of law have always been a threat to Muhoozi. He knows it. It keeps him awake. It disturbs him and all his cowardly friends in that Pupu law, whatever they call themselves, Pupu League. They know the law. They know the rule of law. They know lawyers, independent statesmen lawyers.
You are watching Extreme Media UJ. Subscribe for all the updates.
Given that the suit mentions the word command responsibility, and command responsibility has been accepted for activities, for the invasion of the home and the bodies of the members of that home, in our wisdom, said, let this be the problem of the bar. We don't want to endanger any member of this home, the political party and everything, and they did understand. But that's where we are now. We also met their leadership several times to explain that in light of what they had gone through during the election and what they likely to go through post-election, at the time, I think two of their vice presidents, female vice presidents, were missing. The president was, missing. Was at large. I can use that lawyer's word. Their vice president for Central was nearly killed at his own home and was on a charge. And we are saying we are concerned. And the question I put to their leadership personally, because we were on that call, we put to them that what guarantees do you have? Do you have that you also won't be put on the charge sheet at Butambala? What guarantees do you have? If it's so easy to pick somebody and declare them, deem them a suspect for treason, why don't we rethink how we approach this? Because this is a failure of the law. We beseeched our colleagues to see that this is no longer a matter for private practice of law. They are victims for the failure of law, for the failure of legal institutions like the department or the director of public prosecution to be impartial and free of partisan or political direction, to act with integrity. In the discharge of their functions, to ensure that people don't get wrongly charged, overcharged, just to appease the establishment. I don't think we were taken seriously by those people. Anyway, we then came to other communities, including Mr. Lukwago's one, the leadership and the Lukwago's. For them, they have been very diligent. Like, they give us reports of what happens in court often. And that's how we were able to, be on the same page. So now, I want to go into these aspects. So for those who are non-lawyers, some aspects of this presentation may cause you to think that lawyers are so full of themselves and they think that the law is the solution even to a military problem. I do understand and sympathize with you. But Dr. Kiza Besigye has the answers for you, I think. I will not offer any defense of the law against its pessimists for the time being. Maybe if the space continues, people will be able to explain. Maybe Martha will be able to explain. Why do they have undying optimism in legal strategy when the proponents of militarism are boasting that there's nothing the law can do. So, against that background, I think I'll enter the intestines of my thoughts for you colleagues in council and others, and those who have made time to listen to us. Well, most of us have been admirers of the NRM government for a substantial chunk of our life. Largely because either we didn't know better or because, you know, by accident of history, it presided over a time of much optimism in our journey. Under President Museveni's leadership, we have seen notable achievements in what can be called post-conflict stabilization. You know, that's a word for, yeah, but there's been relative peace after years of great upheaval. There's been relative economic growth. People have been able to, you know, build homes with some dignity and build wealth. And we have seen infrastructure development of a sizable quantity since 1996. But all this has been undone after 4 decades in power because we are consistently concerned by events like those that we saw on Monday, democratic backsliding. Nearly 14 soldiers leave the barracks and come and pick up a private citizen from his home. Some even jump over the home. So this is an invasion of privacy, a violation of Article 27. They purport to conduct an arrest, because they take him somewhere. So they take him from his home and take him somewhere and make some accusations. Now, those accusations we do not know. They're not communicated publicly for 48 hours. Those accusations are not known. We don't know whether Mr. Kwago was informed of those accusations, whatever the accusation is, who was the leader of the arresting squadron of military officers. Are the military officers authorized to do this duty? The law prohibits them, Vice President, as you said. So we see a breach of Article 23, sabbatical 1C, which reads, and I see it says, no person shall be deprived of personal liberty except for the purpose of bringing that person before a court in execution of the order of court or upon reasonable suspicion that that person has committed or is about to commit a criminal offense under the laws of Uganda. So there's no officer of the law that informs us that Mr. Lukwago's liberty was interfered with for the purpose of bringing him before a court of law upon a reasonable suspicion. No one informs us. We just informed this afternoon that it's misprision of treason. Mr. Lukwago has not been under suspicion for misprision of treason for the last 2 years. She's been cancelled for Dr. Kiza Besigye. He's not received an invitation to any police station under section, is it 27 of the Police Act? I don't know what the new section is in the revised edition. The police
27, President.
27? Nothing.
Yeah.
Um, um, he has not, and that means, well, maybe they conducted covertly. Is there such a thing as a covert investigation? Well, under our law, you're supposed to formalize the investigation and report it either to the person or to the court of law and seek what they call a summons and inform Mr. Lukwago at court, since he's the law-abiding officer was making. Mr. Lukwago, here is a summons for you to appear at Machindi to answer this charge on this day. And he can go there without this commotion that we saw and since Monday. Nothing of the kind. So summons skipped. If he doesn't answer summons, an arrest warrant. Maybe. Nothing. So Article 23, Article 2 is violated. No person, what does it say? A person arrested, restricted, or detained shall be kept in a place authorized by law. We have no knowledge of where Mr. Lukwago was held for the last 48 hours. No knowledge. And nobody in the government or judiciary can have that, has given us that answer. Now, we see two government lawyers today, a prosecutor and a magistrate, turn willfully blind to this duty. Yet, under Article 20, they have a compulsory duty to protect Mr. Lukwago's rights in the Constitution as a whole. Before they perform their duties, they must protect his rights. So it should concern the prosecutor to know where has this person been for the last 48 hours. Because I cannot deal with him if he has been in unlawful unconstitutional custody. I cannot deal with him. Then that's the offense that I must be charging. The same thing goes to the magistrate and to us, the attorneys. I want to give this context as easily as possible because it will provide my my speech. So, 23 sabbatical 4, which says 23 sabbatical 4, which says well, that one is very known. When a person is arrested, detained, their rights. He hasn't seen, everybody has seen him for the first time. His lawyer, next of kin, doctor, everything today, not during custody. Whatever happened during custody, we have exhibits for that. Anyway, now something happened in 2019. A law that we were promised under Article 50, which is enforcement of human rights. Parliament was supposed to write for us a simple law that will make human rights the highest concern for the state authorities. Parliament was supposed to write a law that would limit the abuse of power by all government lawyers. A law that would act as a blockade against abuse of power by government lawyers, that the government lawyers in police, in the DPP's office, in the magistracy, in the high court would say, I can't do that because there's a law against it called this Human Rights Enforcement Act 2019. Now, unfortunately, we haven't given sufficient study and application to this act. Last year, Vice President, you remember we hosted the gentleman formerly from the UN Office of Human Rights, Dr. What's his name? Say, Mr. Vice President, what's the name of
Yeah, yeah. Yes, President.
the doctor who spoke on the who told us about the three commissions?
Um, I forget the name. The one who talked about the commission, the various commissions of inquiry,
Yes.
the commissions. Yeah,
Yes. I hope
Sekindi. I think
secondly,
Sekindi something. Yes,
yes.
Sekindi.
He
Yes,
says
President.
these protections are the ruins arise from the blood and bones of many Ugandans whose stories they never live to tell, but three commissions of inquiry we are tasked to find their stories and reduce them into norms and standards that will guide future governance. The Said Commission in 1971, set up by Amin of all people. The Ode Commission, set up by Museveni of all people in 1986. And the Odoki Commission, again set up by the NRM government and their international partners in 1998, and I think it reported in 92, provisionally in 93 finally, and then we debated its results in 94 to 95, and we had a new constitution based on its report in 96, and so on and so forth. 95, and then blah, 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 the story goes. So he says, these things are not mere suggestions. These provisions are supposed to be on our lips, to have weight when they are mentioned, to influence government behavior, not just government behavior, even the behavior of private practitioners, and so on and so forth. And he was really disappointed by how all this goes. So that's the context I want to be able to give. Most people listening on the call may think that human rights are for lawyers, and they will be so wrong. They will be so wrong. That's what Dr. Sekindi told us, that we have a duty to remind Ugandans that human rights as they exist today in our law books are the result of the suffering and the death of their ancestors. Had there not been so much suffering, not so much loss, not so much trauma, we wouldn't have them. We would probably be, in terms of legal frameworks, very behind in the way the militaristic elements want to take us back. So these human rights are an obstacle, to quote Muhoozi, to the 1986 revolution. They simply wanted to replace the old militants and be the new militants. He wants as much power. His vision of Uganda is that of Captain Lugard. He can commit genocide in any part of Uganda without accountability. Uganda is his loot, as it has been Lugard's loot from the beginning. It should be his loot. It is his heritage. And the heritage he wants is the one of genocide without accountability. That's it. He's laid out his thesis very well for power. Now, we have been challenged. We've been challenged not to cry, not to express pity, not to fill up WhatsApp groups with all sorts of, catharsis. No, that nonsense is not required. To state where we belong on this galactic fight between the arch apostle of rule of law and the arch apostle of militarism. So, two men at the peak of their power. One drawing it from the people through the franchise, one drawing it from the gun, access, nearness to the gun and power. Imperial power, actually, is a Sandhurst and Fort Leavenworth graduate. So that's where he feels his legitimacy comes from. When you ask him, who are you? What are you full of? Where do you draw your pride? That's why he draws it. That's why he's taken his son. Anyway, so it's against this background that we are forced to ask, how are we supposed to practice law now? Can the old formats for practicing law before Muhoozi, before February 5th, are they fit for purpose now? Where have we met to have these discussions? Are we having these discussions independently in our law firms, in our, spaces? Are they happening in law schools? Are they happening in parliament? Where are these discussions happening? At the Radical Nuba, we decided that we shall force and provoke these conversations. We shall use every imaginable, every facet of imagination available to us to force these conversations. And God continue to give us life and wisdom and energy to do so. So we're having these conversations. So the essence of what I'm about to say is to argue that there has to be a radical, fundamental paradigm shift in how we view President Museveni's legacy of 40 years in power.
Abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tuchaddeko ewa Sheikh Asiraf Dembe.
Sebo sanyusa okubalaba amannya agange ye Sheikh Asiraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa tunywa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulombeddwa abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala neetaaze enamba yange yeno eri 0707363711 namwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze amaka gakolongotana sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amannya go ebyo byokka bijja kummala nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa eyawamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.